we are. Okay. Selection. Okay, and recording is yes. Okay. All right, everybody, thank you. So I hope you had a chance to listen to the 10-minute recording that we did and sent out. That will be the bulk of what we're talking about today. And actually what we're going to do is go offline to have that conversation. It won't be part of the recording because we're still just talking right now and want to talk with you in a way that isn't preserved for eternity. But we will go over our performance. Then we will get some updates on things like the WIOA Combined State Plan. Look at what VALRC is doing this fall, and end up, as we always do, with reminders and save the dates because there's so much going on. So let's start with our data and look at what how we did last year. So our enrollment is of unique students, right? Unduplicated count is 18,013. That's in the table on the left. And this year we put which NRS table we got the data from in the table header so that if you want to use these slides, you can replicate these from your own tables. I have the slides ready to send out this afternoon or tomorrow, so you can have them as PowerPoints, not as PDFs, so that you can replicate them with your own data and see how you did compared to this state. So no surprise, the bulk of our students are still ESOL one way or another, right? Either English Language Acquisition or IELCE put together. Our largest age group, no surprise, it's the same as it has been in the past, that working age adult, 25 to 44, those very busy people who are raising kids and working and paying bills. That's our bread and butter population, and we're going to look and see how we did on performance with them too in a minute. No, I think this is no surprise on this whole pie chart, consistent with last year. Here's our enrollment by self-identified ethnicity and race. Asians at 13, Black or African American at 21, Hispanic or Latino at 42. So that maps nicely onto our program types as well. You can see that was taken off of NRS Table 2. Integrated education and training. I'm sure you have felt, as we have felt, that we've been focusing on IET a lot in the last 2.5 years. And our data shows. We're very happy to see and thankful for all the work that you have been doing in integrated education and training. This is how the providers by funding source fell out last year, and some of the most common credentials earned here at the bottom. But there was a wide variety of credentials earned, so thank you for being creative and meeting the needs in your regions, your localities. 2 years ago, we served 3% of our total enrollment in IET, and last year we were at 5.6. So that is fantastic. That's a testament to your hard work and your good recruitment efforts. We still have the bulk of our largest population, our largest segment of IET participants is adult secondary education students. And that has been true for a while. IELCE is at 11%. Some of you who were on the October 30th webinar will remember that we had preliminary data at that time. This is the final data that was shared in our federal reporting. So 11% of our IELCE students participated in IET is how you read that. By age group, we're seeing that the largest age group participating in IET is 19 to 24-year-old. And we've got 3 groups that are 5%, over 5%, which is very interesting. And I really appreciate the work that you've done to recruit young adults. I think it's a good match to all the research around serving disconnected youth, is to try and get them into something that yields a credential in a short time frame, something that they can get and go and get some work-based experience, go get into the workforce. So I think your efforts here align very nicely with the research on serving this population. So it'll be interesting to see trends. We only have 2 years really right now. Now our performance data, let's land here for a minute to show our common performance measures. For Title II, these should not come as any surprise. This is familiar, right? Employment second quarter and employment fourth quarter after exit and median earnings. Those are our employment outcomes. Those are all baseline still for 18-19 and 19-20. The credential attainment rate is still a baseline, as is effectiveness in serving employers. MSG, the measurable skill gains, is not a baseline. That's a state negotiated target. We negotiate with the feds, and our negotiated target was 43%, and it is 44% for the year that we are in. Note that the national target for MSG is 45%. That's what the federal office negotiates with the Office of Management and Budget, OMB. So we are below state average, even in our target. And here's where we start to see a problem for this year. The table shows us in the bottom right cell, okay, the bottommost right cell, that our MSG attainment rate for the state was 35.8. And that's way below last year, and it's way below our target. We're looking at a chart with MSG attainment rate by EFL. So remember where the bulk of our students were and where how high the bars are. We're going to see that in the next couple slides. The only EFL to meet the target was ESL 3. This chart shows us MSG attainment rate by EFL for those students who post-tested. Let me go back a slide and just mention here, the narration on the recorded tutorial talks about periods of participation. That's the 18,289. That's that column of, and it's not exactly enrollment. We've got a new number in our lives now when we're looking at how many periods of participation did we serve. And that's what's on table 4. We'll talk about this some more. But I wanted to point that out. 18,289 is the number we're looking at there. And on slide 15, 9,267 is our total of post-tested students. Our post-test rate was 53.3%. So MSG rate by age, well below the 43% line. In fact, our largest age group is our lowest attainment group. This is the opposite of what you want to see. The law of averages is we're not going to make it if we keep up with a low MSG attainment rate in our largest age population or our largest EFL population. By race and ethnicity, the only group that met the target is the group that was the smallest, or one of the smallest. Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders is smaller. Again, it's hard to make your targets when the bulk of your students are below the target. And this one is by barrier status. So 43% is up above the top of all the bars. These are the statewide averages for these barrier categories. The second bar from the left, ELL, low literacy, cultural barriers, that's a little bit of a abbreviation for all of the students in Title II are counted in this category of English language learner, low literacy, or experiencing cultural barriers. So all of our students are there, and that shows the statewide average as 35.8 on that bar. Our highest performance was with the long-term unemployed. All of these, except the ELL, low literacy one, are self-reported. So that is our performance last year. What I'd like to do, Karen, I need your help. Grant application for anybody else too. You're going to have to explain your performance. So think about where you want to put your energy, and I'm going to ask Joanne to talk through this this slide.
Sure, Karen, can we pull up our website real quickly? Because there's a couple things I'd like to share and let you know. First of all, most of you know our staff in their specialty areas and know that you can call any one of them. If you are finding things going on in your data that relate to ABE students or relate to a different type of student, you can go ahead and talk to anybody about that. But if you aren't sure who to contact about things, you can go to our website, and Karen's working on it, but go to our website underneath the About, and the staff will show up there, and you can go down through that list and see who might be able to help you with what. I do want to let you know that we are going to make a change on our staff. For those of you who haven't heard, Susan Watson is leading us as our ESOL specialist. Her last day, in fact, is this Friday. She's going to the Department of Defense Education activity to work as an instructional systems specialist. So we wish her the best of luck in her new endeavor. But that puts an opening on our staff for an ESOL specialist. Anybody that might have questions after Friday for what types of things you need in terms of as it relates to ESOL, please contact me and I can get you the right person, and or Jenna Kelly at the state. She can help you with those too. So Karen, can you go to the About Us and the staff contact area? Here's the list, and so it will tell you in the list who does what things. One change is that Jeffrey has been pretty much our ABE specialist all along, but he is now knee-deep in NEDP if you're doing that program, but also has been working with programs on making data-informed program decisions. So he might be someone to call if you're looking for opportunities to look at your data. He's been going around. I don't know if anybody wants to jump in that has had an opportunity to work with Jeffrey on connecting data to classroom practices. He is helping people look at their own data and analyze that, looking for, answers to some of these questions. Who's staying, who's not, are they male, are they female, what age group are they in, and what kinds of ways can you really dig down into the data to parse things out. So look through those. And if you don't already know Elizabeth Severson Irby, she is available to help with literacy, low language issues, or low literacy issues, and she is answering any questions. If you are still interested in, we can probably go back to the other slide now. She can help out. Page. Pardon?
Go to the events page.
Okay, I'll get that real quick. She can help with the Sarah studies. Okay, so the events page, this is kind of a all new thing. We have our events page, we totally revamped it so that it's a one-stop shop for everybody. We now have here webinars and virtual events, if you want to click on that. Anything that is coming up that you would need to make a registration for is right here, and the dates, what is happening, and then down below are all the archives. So if there are recordings or YouTube areas that when we do these recordings, we put them up, they are listed there. So all of those things are in one place for you to register and to look at the archives. Going back to the events main page, the second thing is facilitated online courses. So these are what is coming up, which is on another slide, but the winter term and all the course descriptions. A reminder, if you're dealing with wanting to do something specific on reading or something specific on math with your teachers, and you have a cohort of 10 or more, we can do a special course for you. We just wanted to make sure that there are 10 or more. Otherwise, you're joining in with everybody from around the state, which isn't a bad thing either, because you learn what people are doing around the state. Back to the events page, the self-paced courses. These are, I appreciate everybody's patience with VLC. Paige has been working diligently with all of you, and you all have been amazing helping her get you back onto the VLC system. So we're doing our own backdoor fix. It seems to be working, so we should be ready to roll. Including the assessment policy training that is through there. But these are direct links, take you right to the VLC registration that you would need to for each one of these courses. And we've also, if you scroll down, Karen, have put together a list of external course offerings, links training that you might be interested in having folks participate in. So those are links to the links training. And then there is one down at the very bottom that is from the Virginia Department of Ed. They have a dyslexia awareness training, which is a really good module. So all these are vetted by us, and if you do any of these on the external, there is a link at the top of this page for putting in external learning into the VLC system. And finally, back on the events page is the one-click to face-to-face training. What we've done with this is done these by topic area now. So this is more or less our catalog to choose from. And next to them are the topic areas in which they would associate for folks. So if you're looking for something specific on high school equivalency, look for the diploma, the little cap. If you're looking for math related things, there's a calculator, etc. You go down the list here and you will see the various pieces and parts, if that is where your gap is. If you go right to the top of this right now, is where you just had it, was connecting. They are in alphabetical order. So let's go to C. And connecting data to classroom practices. That's the one I was telling you about in terms of where Jeffrey will come out and take a look at your NRS tables with you. So several different opportunities there. So instead of trying to really reach down into the site to see what might match, those are 4 things on a single page, the events page for you now. This does replace the training under each individual topic area on the website. So if you go to, for example, standards-based instruction, training is no longer there. It would be listed underneath one of these pieces.
It links to your
It does link to, okay, Karen's working.
It links to the events page.
All right, so back to the original slide, the Here to Help slide. I was talking a minute ago about the SARA study that gives you an opportunity to do a different reading assessment. There are some parameters around that I don't know if those have been sticky widgets for folks that are trying to implement that, but we'd love to hear from you. Elizabeth can kind of help you work through some of those. And I'd like you to be thinking about considering partnering with the CBLOs to help you out through some of that paperwork and might make that easier to do that. Also, I've put out there the opportunity to partner with Value USA and their adult learner leadership training. A couple of programs are going to talk with Marty Finsterbush a little bit more about that. But the great thing about this is that it is a group of adult learners that are actually working through this process, and you might be able to say, you know, here are the things that we're not understanding. Why are people leaving? Or, you know, and give them a task that they might be able to pull apart and help give you some feedback on. So if you're interested in doing that, I can help you connect to Marty to get that training done.
So thank you.
Is there anybody that has been doing any startup on SARA or who did the connecting data classroom practices that would like to speak to those at all? Okay.
Well, you can put it in the chat, and I appreciate all the volunteering that's going on in the chat as well. So thank you for that. Thank you, Joanne.
I think I had there's one other just talking about conferences later. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
We started talking about your tables, but there's clearly so much more to understand. Tom, do you want to just talk about what's coming up very next in data training?
Yes, so we're going to have a recorded tutorial. It looks like at this point there's going to be 3 of them. The first one is going to deal with NRS tables 1, 2, 2A, 3, 6, and 7. The second one will deal with NRS tables 4, 4A, 4B, 4C, the 4s. And then the third tutorial will deal with NRS, the follow-up outcome table. So the post-exit
indicators.
Indicators, yes.
We're learning the new language too.
Yeah. And that would be NRS tables 5, 5A, 9, 10, and 11. So the first 2 tutorials should be out shortly. The third tutorial, I don't think will be out until after the holidays. There's a lot of good information in them. Some of you may think that you know all there is to know about NRS tables, and that's probably true. However, it doesn't hurt to review the tutorials. This is not going to be a one-shot one-shot deal where we just talk about this and then not talk about them for a while, at least until this time next year. We will keep that conversation going throughout the course of the year to make sure that everybody is aware of what they need to do when they review their data for reporting purposes. So as you can tell from our earlier discussion, I mean, there's a real priority, not just from us, but from the feds, to make sure that our data is accurate and that our performance is, that we're continuously improving our performance. And so that just puts all the more emphasis on making sure that that our system is capturing the data accurately, timely, and reporting it. likewise. So,
And this will be our first year since I've been here, I guess, that you have your tables during the year. So we will help you use them for data monitoring. And also, there was a scramble in September when we realized we could use Table 3 to correct some data entry misunderstandings about IET students. That kind of work can now go on during the year, and hopefully you'll be able to capture your data more thoroughly, and altogether it will be more accurate. The more we all understand what needs to be entered, and then know where to check that it is being entered properly. That has been the missing link. So we're hopeful that we can help with that, and you will have good questions for us. There's a question here for you, Tom, about when the post-exit indicator tables will be coming out.
So those are currently in the test environment. I'm looking at them. Well, I'm not looking at them now, obviously, but they are. I have been looking at them and working with our IT folks. I would say that they're going to be released this week. We're very close on those tables, so you don't need to ask me, but you will get a notice, either director's memo or coordinator's memo indicating that those tables are now available for your review.
And then we need to talk about how to read them, because they're new to you, and they're new to us at the regional level. We only reported that stuff last year at the state level. So there's a lot of new sentences we need to learn how to say, new ways to read those tables. So thank you, Tom, for creating those. And now it's time to make some noise. Thank you to everybody who participated in the XPrize. We are winners.
Yay.
There was a lovely literacy summit at the Kennedy Center, the new Reach Center last week when the announcements were made. The Barbara Bush Foundation has released quite a few new resources that you might want to check out. There's a really interesting literacy map that they released at the county level. It was all part of this literacy summit, and at the summit it was announced that Team World Ed, that's us, had the most number of users downloading the apps. So that is thanks to all of you and all the work that went into trying to get students to use these apps. And I think we learned a lot. And part of what we learned is how hard it is, right, to get students excited about apps. But that's all learning to the good, and thanks to your help, we have a cash prize that World Ed is going to use to capture all the lessons learned and turn it into professional development that we can use for years to come. Can we see XPrize by region? No, we can't. We can't even see it really by states within Team World Ed, since we all use the same code, Rachel. But if you are using Learning Upgrade, for example, you should be able to know how many students you have on a particular app. Next in our world is the Combined State Plan. Time's up. Time to write a new one. So it's underway. Facilitators from VCU are whipping the state staff into shape, trying to get our portions ready. And the timeline is sort of like this, that we are writing now in November, and we are setting stakeholder roundtables. I think that was ambitious to think they would happen in December. We may get one or two scheduled in December. Open comment period will be February, so smack in the middle of the conference, and we are planning to host open input sessions at the conference. Submission in April. So fast timeline, a lot happening. We will keep you posted on where stakeholder input sessions are in your region. Make sure that you know when something is happening, that you can attend in person. The priorities that we are hearing now for the state plan is economic equity, kind of along the line of that grant that was issued to the local workforce development boards in the summer. Looking to focus on the out-of-work population and bringing excellent services, both job seeker and business services, to every community. In adult education, these were the priorities in the last plan. I don't see that changing. I would expect to see these priorities strengthened in the new plan. Again, we'll try and make sure you see the opportunities to weigh in on that. One of the initiatives, as you know, is the Sector Strategies and Career Pathways Academy. Those are going on now. This week, as a matter of fact, there are 3 more foundations events. As a reminder, we have asked that each funded program, so there are 30 direct grantees, each funded program have 1 member complete the training and earn the certificate for the Sector Strategies and Career Pathways. The whole point being that we are doing this in collaboration and sort of co-enrolling ourselves with our workforce partners. BEC staff is doing this, Title I staff is doing this, DSS is getting very well represented in this round of foundation events, and DARS. So we're all in it together. We're trying to learn how to work together, share vocabulary, share approaches, and learn how to accelerate our shared clients' trajectory. VALRC, thank you. You are, VALRC is doing a leadership community of practice for those who volunteered to be champions in their region. Those folks are listed here. Thank you. And their job is to be visible and make sure that adult ed is well represented in these events and in the online learning environment. We have a lot to offer our colleagues. We know a lot about career pathways. We need to make sure that we're there to represent learning, the time it takes to learn, how people learn, and what our learners need, all those barriers that we know trip up learners. We need to raise our hands and say, we need you guys, we need DSS, we need DARS, we need Title I to offer those support services. Part of this effort to have statewide initiatives is yielding a resource. And Carol Bassell, hope you're still listening. You've asked me several times, aren't there tax credits that employers could access if they were offering training to their employees? And indeed there are, and they are underutilized in Virginia. This Business Solutions Team's guide is coming out in a week or so. They may wait until after Thanksgiving, so it hits more of a splash. But it's, I don't know, 25, 28 pages long, and it's overviews of all the programs that are available to businesses. The goal is that all the business service teams around the state are talking to businesses with the same set of assets available. A couple highlights here is the federal bonding program. For re-entry or high-risk hires, the federal government will hold the bond so that employers don't feel that they're going out on a limb, and that there are incentives for hiring high priority populations. And just to tell you who those folks are, it's veterans, people with disabilities, and ex-offenders. So there are tax credits, there are incentives, there are bonding programs. All of these things could help some of our high-risk students get employment. The worker retraining and work opportunity tax credits, Carol, that's what I'm talking about. Any of you working with businesses and offering workplace education might just do a loop to make sure that the employers you're working with know that they're eligible for those tax credits. The section on adult ed emphasizes workplace education and training, since this is aimed at businesses. So watch for that. Ask your committees, your partners about it. I will certainly be sharing it out with you, but make sure that your colleagues know about it too. I wanted to land on this. I think we're going to go over time just a little bit. I hope you can give an extra few minutes. I wanted to land on this slide again. We showed this in the IET webinar. Just to help you understand the difference between business services and career and training services and what you're reporting. So it seems to me one way to think about what you report as a business services service space is that the business knows you're doing it for them. If they don't know you're doing whatever the it is, it may not really be a business service. It may be more of a job seeker service. If you saw an opening posted and you pointed it out to your students, that's really a job seeker service. That's a career and training service. Business services are when businesses ask you to do something and you do it for them. So kind of use that lens when you're thinking about what to report. The business services report is due December 10th. We're going to be very busy that week. So if you have questions about this, try and ask us questions the week prior to December 10th. There is a little tutorial that's posted on the professional development page of the VDOE website that you can listen to on reporting business services. Career and training, these are the things you do for students, right? And there's guidance out about that. It's pretty detailed. We went back and forth with many of you as it came in annually. We're happy to answer those kinds of questions along the way. Is this something to report or not? But that career and training services gets reported as money. Business services gets reported as services, activities. So just trying to help folks keep it all straight as you're starting to add business services into your reporting cycle. Business services is part of the effectiveness in serving employers common measure, and the statewide data that's shared in the little tutorial is what was reported to the State Workforce Board and to the feds this year. And this is the first year that Title II, hundreds of employers reported was part of that. So that's awesome. Linda's saying they're due January 10th. Oh, thank goodness, Linda. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta remind them about that. No, you're right, Linda. The quarter ends December 31st. So business services will be due January 10th. Thank you. I've lost
You
it.
want to go to the next
Yes. All right, we're stuck for a minute.
There it is.
There it is. All right.
So
Back to
to
join.
wrap you up, let's get excited again.
Our winter online courses, if you're trying to determine some professional development for some of your staff, ELPS and adult educators, facilitated by Debbie Cargill. We are doing the second of our reading series that Elizabeth Severson Irby has developed. The first happened just this past fall, but we are doing meaning skills, foundation of reading. To refresh your memory, we had the longer reading course and divided it up into 3 separate parts to really do deep dives to help people with their instruction as it relates to reading. And then Hillary is facilitating differentiated instruction. It's a short one, a 3-week course that is a TEAL course. So it'll be on a Lynx Moodle, but she will be facilitating for you that because she is a national TEAL trainer, for those of you that aren't aware of that. So registration runs right when we're getting back into things, January 6th through 17th. And again, if you would like to do your own cohort, let Katie Bradisaks know. And finally, I want to talk about the 2020 conference and just give everyone a quick update because it is coming around. And once again, I think that this is an excellent opportunity for professional development for your instructors. Wednesday, again, is going to be focusing on workforce partnerships, all of those kinds of things. We will have a couple sessions devoted to reaction to the combined state plan. We have some great sessions as it relates to that, and local tour of the local workforce development board office. So that's an exciting thing. Oh, and our panel that day is going to be focused on businesses. So we are working on that right now, but have businesses coming in to talk about their take on the whole thing. So that's a very exciting start to the conference. On Thursday, the mini institutes, we have 5. We are pulling in national experts in these various topics. So if your instructors need something specific, they can come in and get that information. And then Friday, we are, I know the program managers have a meeting, but after our initial session on Friday, we are going to be doing a session for sure on collaborative instruction and co-teaching. For those of you that participated in the IEL Civic Symposium, probably about 3-4 years ago, we had these 2 folks coming in from Arizona who helped us with that. They are coming back for an encore performance. So it's a great opportunity to engage our VCCS folks. If you have people that are doing co-teaching right now, or you think they're going to do it underneath your IETs, you can encourage them to come as a team so that they can really get in there and work on what their strategies might be for collaborative and co-teaching. We may have career coach certification training that's tentative, but we also have an opportunity for CBLO leaders, DOC leaders, or just DOC folks in general. Teacher leaders, we were going to do a separate thing for them, but I think Kate's thinking she wants them to jump into the co-teaching. So she's probably going to leave it up to them to do that. But they are doing some really exciting things as it relates right now to standards-based instruction. So stay tuned for more. The exhibitor information is out there right now. Call for proposals has finished, and we will be moving into registration soon, but you can reserve your hotel rooms right now by going on to the website and using the group code AEL20 to reserve hotel rooms.
All right, thank you. I think the mini institutes are going to be very well received, and the Friday events are also very interesting. Our featured partner, VCCS, hoping to bring a lot of those college faculty members who are working with you on the collaborative grants, young adults, credit for prior learning, the RSVP grant, the economic empowerment, or whatever they call economic equity, I think they called it, to the local workforce board. So look for some of your colleagues in the Friday morning session especially. Reminders, need to keep the directory up to date, of course. 2 ways to tell us what's going on. If you've got program site changes, make sure that the provider directory at VALRC knows about that. I think we need a December update. We're welcoming Eileen to REAP. Anybody else who is not current in the regional program manager directory, let us know. Check your information, let us know. If we don't have an updated IET planning tool, let Jenna know if things have changed. We always want to know when program design and schedules change. So keep us posted. Thank you to everyone who has accepted an invitation to be part of the grantee focus group on December 12th. That is part of the federal monitoring. We're not running the focus group. The federal team will be doing that. They want to hear from you. Thank you for joining by voice today, because some of you will have indicated, about half of you have indicated that you want to Zoom in on that afternoon, so we can be sure to join by voice so we can hear you. And we'll have site visits to 4 sites on the day before. So December 11th, thank you to those who will be hosting the federal team. We'll be having a call with you prior to then, so you can get a sense of what to expect. Thanks for your help putting all your schedules together. The 4th bullet is another thank you. This whole payroll Omega reimbursement issue just took so much time in October. Sorry about that. Came down to us, and we just let you, rolled it on down to you, but it has taken a lot to get everybody to understand how to make Omega do this, and how to get our payroll in there properly. There are remaining questions about state funding that will become available in early January, the lottery funding. So stay tuned. We're trying to ask the questions about how are we going to report and request reimbursements for that lottery money and get that done in a timely way. So send your questions to me, and know that we're trying to work that through, and probably will call on a few of you again to make sure that we understand all the issues around that. The reallocation grants are on their way. They are working their way through the department, so you should see those very soon. I'm not sure that they will be out before Thanksgiving, but they're on their way. And again, we're hoping that you will be able to use some of that funding to make up the challenges. Several of you have had budget amendments, et cetera, and we've said, okay, here's the reallocation coming your way. So let us know how you need to use it. Those budgets are pretty simple, and we'll be working with you on that in December. I know there's a lot of work going on with the MOUs, a lot of work, and I look forward to seeing those come in. I'm sure you're looking forward to seeing them be off your desks. So thank you for all of that, and thank you for being such good negotiators in your region. We must be partners, we must give, and you are making sure that your give is coming back to your program too, right? That you are getting good benefit from it. So we appreciate that. Last item is a question here that I was just going to answer about the risk rubrics. Last year we sent them about November 30th, and since that's a Saturday this year, I think we'll hit about December 2nd or 3rd. So those are coming after Thanksgiving. Again, we'll send the state 4 and 4B tables when we send that out, so you can use that to compare your data. Between the federal monitoring and the start of the competition season, we're going to be very pressed for time. I'd like to offer you time to have technical assistance calls, but we're gonna make them not mandatory. So if you can't make the times that we have, no harm, no foul this year. It's a great time to have conversation, but we're just running out of year. So we'll put some hours out there for you, and you let us know if you can or want to have a call on your risk rubrics. And I think Joanne has one more thing.
One more thing.
I'm gonna
that I
switch to
forgot
Happy
I was
Thanksgiving.
given a sticky note to remind me. We do evaluations on our PD that are given directly to those that participate, and so we can get feedback on how to improve the professional development. This year, we're implementing a phase 2 to that to take it up a step. So everyone that participates in a professional development will be doing the phase 1, and then phase 2 will come about 3 to 6 weeks later, depending on the training, and go directly to the folks to give us feedback on how they're actually using the training, what are they doing in their classrooms, how are they seeing impact. These are really important, so we are asking your help in encouraging your instructors, or if you have participated in something and received something from us to remind you to do a phase 2 training, please do, because this is our way of improving things for you and helping you in the best way we possibly can to make an impact. So thank you for that. I'm thankful to you, since we have Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, one of my favorite holidays. Hope it is yours too. Family and friends, and your MOUs are done and all that kind of stuff. Thank you, everybody, and thanks for staying on a few minutes late. We really appreciate it. Have a nice afternoon.